Islam, Hotep, Shalom Mikhael, peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses. I reserve all my rights without recourse. Good day. Part 2, where we left off, chapter 3, concerning the arts. If thou wishest to succeed, it is necessary to make the following experiments and arts in the appropriate days and hours, with the requisite solemnities and ceremonies contained and laid down in the following chapters. Experiments, then, are of two kinds. The first is to make trial of what, as I have said, can be easily performed without a circle, and in case it is not necessary to observe anything but what thou wilt find in the proper chapters. The second can in no way be brought to perfection without the circle, and in order to accomplish this perfectly, it is necessary to take note of all the preparations which the master of the art and his disciples must undertake before constructing the circle. All right, so first point. If you are type of person, if you are an individual who says out of your mouth, I am not perfect, I cannot be perfect, there's nothing perfect, perfection doesn't exist, then stop this video and continue on with your life. If you keep company with those type of individuals or those type of persons, then you should stop this video and take a inventory of your priorities. Take an inventory of the energies that you keep and decide what is more valuable. However, for those of you who resonate with that word, perfection, I'm going to keep reading. Before commencing operations, both the master and his disciples must abstain with great and thorough continence during the space of 9 days from sensual pleasures and from vain and foolish conversation, as plainly appeareth in the second book, chapter 4. 6 of these 9 days having expired, he must recite frequently the prayer and confession, as will be told him on the 7th day. The master being alone, let him enter into a secret place. Let him take off his clothes and bathe himself from head to foot in consecrated and exorcised water, saying devoutly and humbly the prayer, O Lord Adonai, as it is written in the second book, chapter 2. I'll give you an example. In January, whenever I was arrested, right? And I'm going to get all the videos of when I was inside of their jails, their prisons, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about for yourself. And for a lot of you, it's going to make you very angry. So they threw me into the cell, right? They ripped off, they beat me up and cut off my clothes with scissors, while my hands and feet were cuffed behind my back and my feet behind my back, right? And inside of this cell that they threw me in with nothing, there was human feces smeared all over the wall. They wouldn't even give me toilet paper, right? So So a long time ago, I made a song out of this prayer. Well, I didn't make the song. I memorized the song. And you probably heard this song before. And it goes something like, El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Elyon Adonai. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Elyon Adonai. And I began to sing it. And I'm not sure which day it was, if it was the first day or a few days later. But I definitely had a real experience, you know. And before I knew it, the guards were passing by the door saying, "I love you, man. We're going to get you out of there." And then, like, the next day, they took me out of that place and took me to, like, a different part of the jail, right? So, because I could have been there in that one cell, like, for the whole 22 days that they kept me in there, right? For no reason. Right, and they're gonna pay me $1,100 per minute that they had me in there. But anyways, so yes, I love that song. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Elyon Adonai. H2H, you're still the same by the power of your name. All right, I'm gonna continue reading. We're still in chapter 3 concerning the arts. The prayer being finished, let the master quit the water and put upon his flesh raiment of white linen, clean and unsoiled. And then let him go with his disciples into a secret place and command them to strip themselves naked. And they, having taken off their clothes, let them be exercised water and pour it upon their heads so that it flows down to their feet and bathes them completely. And while pouring this water upon them, let the master say, "Be ye regenerate, renewed, washed, and pure," etc., as in Book 2, Chapter 3. Which being done, the disciples must clothe themselves, putting upon their flesh, like their master, raiment of white linen, cleaned and unsoiled. And the 3 last days the master and his disciples should fast, observing the solemnities and prayers marked in Book 2, Chapter 2. Note that the 3 last days should be calm weather, without wind and without clouds rushing hither and thither over the face of the sky. On the last day, let the master go with his disciples into a secret fountain of running water, or unto a flowing stream. And there let each of them, taking off his clothes, wash himself with due solemnity, as is rehearsed in Book 2. And when they are clean and pure, let each put upon him garments of white linen, pure and clean, using the prayers and ceremonies described in Book 2. After which let the master alone say the confession. The which being finished, the master in sign of penitence will kiss the disciples on the forehead, and each of them will kiss the other. Afterwards, let the master extend his hands over the disciples, and in sign of absolution absolve and bless them. Which being done, he will distribute to each of his disciples the instruments necessary for magical art, which he is to carry into the circle. The first disciple will bear the censer, the perfumes, and the spices. The second disciple will bear the book, papers, pens, ink, and any stinking or impure materials. The third will carry the knife and the sickle of magical art, the lantern and the candles. The fourth, the psalms. and the rest of the instruments. The fifth, the crucible, or the chafing dish, and the charcoal, or fuel. But it is necessary for the master himself to carry in his hand the staff and the wand, or rod. The things necessary being thus disposed, the master will go in with his disciples unto the assigned place, where they have proposed to construct the circle for the magical arts and experiments, repeating on the way the prayers and orations which thou wilt find in Book 2. When the master shall arrive at the place appointed together with his disciples, he, having lighted the flame of the fire, and having exercised it afresh, as is laid down in the second book, shall light the candle and place it in the lantern, which one of the disciples is to hold ever in his hand to light the master at his work. Now, the master of the art, every time that he shall have occasion for some particular purpose to speak with the spirits, must endeavor to form certain circles which shall differ somewhat, and shall have some particular reference to the particular experiment under consideration. Now, in order to succeed in forming such a circle concerning magical art, for the greater assurance and efficacy, thou shalt construct it in the following manner. All right. That's why there is an order and structure, and there is an initiation into this organization for those who have interest when the time comes. The construction of the circle. Take thou the knife, the sickle, or the sword of magical art, consecrated after the manner and order which we shall deliver unto thee in the second book. With this knife, or with the sickle of art, thou shalt describe beyond the inner circle which thou shalt have already formed a second circle, encompassing the other at the distance of 1 foot thereon, and having the same center. Within this space of 1 foot in breadth between the first and second circumferential line, thou shalt trace towards the 4th quarters of the earth the sacred and venerable symbols of the holy letter Tau. And between the first and the second circle, which thou shalt thyself have drawn with the instrument of magical art, thou shalt make 4 hexagonal pentacles, and between these thou shalt write 4 terrible and tremendous names of God, viz., between the east and the south, the supreme name, I have Tetragrammaton. Between the south and the west, the essential tetragrammatic name, Aye. Between the west and the north, the name of power, Elion. And between the north and the east, the great name, Allah. Which names are of supreme importance in the list of the Sephiroth and their sovereign equivalents. Furthermore, thou shalt circumscribe about these circles 2 squares, the angles of which shall be turned towards the 4 quarters of the earth, and the space between the lines of the outer and inner squares shall be half a foot. My grandfather was a very wise man. The extreme angles of the outer square shall be made the centers of 4 circles, the measure or diameter of which shall be 1 foot. All these are to be drawn with a knife or consecrated instrument of art. And within these 4 circles, thou must write these 4 names of God, the Most Holy One, in this order. At the east, Al, El. At the west, I, Yah. At the south, Aglah, Aglah. And at the north, Adonai, Adonai. Between the two squares, the name Tetragrammaton is to be written in the same way as is shown in the plate. While constructing the circle, the master should recite the following Psalms. Psalms 2, Psalms 1, 4. Or he may as well recite them before tracing the circle. The which being finished, and the fumigations being performed, as is described in the chapter on fumigations in the second book, the master should reassemble his disciples, encourage them, reassure them, fortify them, and conduct them into the parts of the circle of art, where he must place them in the four quarters of the earth. Encourage them and exhort them to fear nothing, and to keep in the places assigned to them. Also, the disciple who is placed towards the east should have a pen, ink, paper, silk, and white cotton, all clean and suitable for the work. Furthermore, each of the companions should have a new sword drawn in his hand, besides the consecrated magical sword of art. And he should keep his hand resting upon the hilt thereof, and he should on no pretext quit the place assigned to him, nor move therefrom. After this, the master should quit the circle, light the fuel in the earthen pots, and place upon them the censers, in the fourth quarters of the earth. And he should have in his hand the consecrated taper of wax, and he should light it and place it in a hidden and secret place, prepared for it. Let him after this re-enter and close the circle. The master should afresh exhort his disciples and explain to them all that they have to do and to observe, the which commands they should promise and vow to execute. Let the master then repeat this prayer. When we enter into herein with all humility, let God the Almighty One enter into the circle, by the entrance of an eternal happiness, of a divine prosperity, of a perfect joy, of an abundant charity, and of an eternal salutation. Let all the demons fly from this place, especially those who are opposed unto this work, and let the angels of peace assist and protect this circle, from which let discord and strife fly and magnify and extend upon us, O Lord, thy most holy name, and bless our conversation and our assembly. Sanctify, O Lord our God, our humble entry herein. Thou, the blessed and holy one of the eternal ages. Amen. After this, let the master say upon his knees as follows. O Lord God, O powerful, O merciful, thou who desirest not the death of a sinner, but rather that he may turn from his wickedness and live, give and grant unto us thy grace, by blessing and consecrating this earth and this circle, which is here marked out with the most powerful and holy names of God and thee. I conjure, O earth, by the most holy name of Asher Aiah, entering within the circle, composed and made with my hand. And may God, even Adonai, bless this place with all the virtues of heaven, so that no obscene or unclean spirit may have the power to enter into this circle, or to annoy any person who is therein. Through the Lord God Adonai, who liveth eternally unto the ages of the ages. Amen. I beseech thee, O Lord God, the all-powerful and the all-merciful, that thou wilt design to bless this circle, and all this place, and all those who are therein, and that thou wilt grant unto us who serve thee and rehearse nothing but the wonders of thy law, a good angel for our guardian. Remove from us every adverse power, us from evil and from trouble. Grant, O Lord, that we may rest in this place in all safety. Through thee, O Lord, who livest and reignest unto the ages of the ages. Amen. Let the master now arise and place upon his head a crown made of paper, or any other appropriate substance, on the which there must be written with the colors and other necessary things which we shall describe hereafter. These 4 names: Agla, Aglai, Aglate, Aglatei, the which names are to be placed in the front, behind, and on either side of the head. Furthermore, the master ought to have with him in the circle those pentacles or medals which are necessary to his purpose, which are described hereinafter, and which should be constructed according to the rules given in the chapter on pentacles. They should be described on virgin paper with a pen, and ink, blood, or colors, prepared according to the manner which we shall hereafter show in the chapters on these subjects. It when be sufficient to take only those pentacles which are actually required. They should be sewed to the front of the linen robe on the chest with the consecrated needle of the art, and with the thread which has been woven by a young girl. After this, let the master turn himself towards the eastern quarter, unless directed to the contrary, or unless he should be wishing to call spirits which belong to another quarter of the universe, and pronounce with a loud voice the conjuration contained in this chapter. And if the spirits be disobedient and do not then make their appearance, he must arise and take the exercised knife of art wherewith he had constructed the circle, and raise it towards the sky, as if he wished to beat or strike the air, and conjure the spirits. Let him lay his right hand and the knife upon the pentacles or medals, constructed of and inscribed upon virgin paper, which are fastened to or sewn upon his breast, and let him repeat the following conjuration upon his knees. O Lord, hear my prayer, and let my cry come unto thee. O Lord God Almighty, who has reigned before the beginning of the age, thine infinite wisdom has created the heavens, the earth, and the sea, and all that in them is, all that is visible, and all that is invisibly by a single word. I praise thee, I bless thee, I adore thee, I glorify thee. I pray thee now at the present time to be merciful unto me, a miserable sinner, for I am the work of thine hands. Save me and direct me by thy holy name, thou to whom nothing is difficult, nothing is impossible, and deliver me from the night of mine ignorance, and enable me to go forth therefrom. Enlighten me with the spark of thine infinite wisdom. Take away from my senses the desire of covetousness and the iniquity of mine idle words. Give unto me, thy servant, a wise understanding, penetrating and subtle heart, to acquire and comprehend all sciences and arts. Give unto me capacity to hear and strength of memory to retain them, so that I may be able to accomplish my desires and understand and learn all difficult and desirable sciences, and also that I may be able to comprehend the hidden secrets of the holy writings. Give me the virtue to conceive them, so that I may be able to bring forth and pronounce my words with patience and humility for the instruction of others, as thou hast ordered me. O God the Father, all powerful and all merciful, who has created all things, who knowest and conceivest them universally, and to whom nothing is hidden, nothing is impossible. I entreat thy grace for me and for thy servants, because thou seest and knowest well that we perform not this work to tempt thy strength and thy power, as if in doubt thereof, but rather that we may know and understand the truth of all hidden things. I beseech thee to have the kindness to be favorable unto us by thy splendor, thy magnificence, and thy holiness, and by thy holy, terrible, and ineffable name, Yah, at which the whole world doeth tremble, and by the fear with which all creatures obey thee. Grant, O Lord, that we may become responsive unto thy grace, so that through it we may have a full confidence in it and knowledge of thee, and that the spirits may discover themselves here in our presence, and that those which are gentle and peaceable may come unto us, so that they may be obedient unto thy commands. Through thee, O most holy Adonai, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and whose empire endureth unto the ages of the ages. Amen. After having said all these words devoutly, let the master arise and place his hands upon the pentacles, and let one of the companions hold the book open before the master, who, raising his eyes to heaven and turning unto the four quarters of the universe, shall say, O Lord, be thou unto me a tower of strength against the appearance and assaults of the evil spirits. After this, turning towards the four quarters of the universe, he shall say the following words. These be the symbols and the names of the Creator, which can bring terror and fear unto you. Obey me then, by the power of these holy names, and by these mysterious symbols of the secret of secrets. All right. I'm going to come back and continue this on part 3. I greet you with a holy kiss, and I encourage all of us to study to vibrate higher and to know that we know who we are. Islam, I, self-law and master. Peace and love, life forever.